So with Diversity Lava coming, otherwise known as Purgatory, you might be wondering, should you build her? She's an AoE caster. I don't have any AoE casters built. HG must be really nice for giving us a free-to-play Dusk. Well, today I'll be answering all of your questions and more as a proud owner of a fully maxed out in every way possible Purgatory. I'll be detailing her kit, role, usage, and then giving my overall opinion on the character. This will be the third video I do on her. If you want to see in action, check out my other two videos. As a note, all stats will be at E2 Max M3 or M6. Let's go. Purgatory is the first diversity operator in Arknights, being an alternate version of the 3-star Lava. She's an AoE caster boasting the same role, ridiculous cost, and high attack stat with an equally high attack interval. This branch is usually regarded as bad because of that ridiculous DP cost, low DPS, low range, and most of the time skills that are more crowd control and less DPS oriented. So how does Purgatory mitigate these issues of her fellow utility casters? She has huge range, I guess. Purgatory's talent gives her a massive boost in SP, and once deployed, all other casters also gain a small boost in initial SP. Her self SP buff only applies once per run. This is very important, so do take note. This allows for near instant cast of both her S1 and S2, taking 5 seconds at port 5 I believe, and allows AR to use her skill 1 second after deployment, assuming you have port 3 and you roll a plus 19 SP. This talent sounds pretty good at first as a support skill or talent, but in reality it doesn't really work. The reason why Bagpipes plus SP is so coveted is because Vanguard specifically work especially well with faster skill casting. Like faster DP regen means easier time dealing with early waves, and for Bagpipe herself, of course, she can activate S3 earlier to start clapping stuff early. With casters, instant skill casts aren't anywhere near as useful, and even then, Purgatory has to be on the field for the talent to even apply. Spending 32 DP to make casters charge 5 DP worth of time faster is, well, I'll let you do the math on that. Her own talent SP gain is held back by the fact that it only applies once. With both of her skills taking 40 seconds for the first cast without her talent, not having that talent makes her a one-time heli drop thing, which greatly reduces that heli drop potential. Moving on to her skills. Purgatory's specialty is having a longer range as an AoE caster, which is to say, not 3x3 range, but also nothing especially insane. Skill 1 is pretty interesting as a skill 1 by having an interesting mechanic. So what it does is, it has double targets which allow her to get double DPS if both of the targets are standing near each other. Unfortunately, this skill's DPS is abysmal to begin with, so you basically need to get both of the enemies at the same spot to even deal an acceptable amount of damage. So let's compare this to Skyfire. Purgatory S1, which has 50 SP cost and lasts for 35 seconds, does 682.7 DPS, assuming 2 targets are stacked. Skyfire S1, which has 30 SP cost and lasts for 30 seconds, does 681.9 DPS assuming enemies are blocked. So there's obviously each of the conditions for both of those to reach their peak DPS, but assuming those are equally as bad, Purgatory S1 still falls behind this already mediocre skill in SP cost. That extra range can allow her to snipe at positions where other AoE casters will be hit, such as this footage in Chapter 6. But with the amount of damage she's putting out, you have way better options if you just want that range. Basically, not worth raising, don't even think about it. So, what about skill 2? Surely the skill I showcased in my most popular video to date has to be good, right? Let's get into it, shall we? Skill 2 has the reverse gimmick of S1. Instead of using more enemies to increase your DPS, you use your own operators to increase DPS. Purgatory sets the operator with the highest HP in her range ablaze, it doesn't hurt them I swear, and summons a constantly damaging aura around herself and the operator. Of course, she can use her skill even if there isn't anyone in her range, but you always want to pair her up with someone, because on the tiles where each of their flame auras overlap, the damage is doubled. This skill's DPS fares better than S1 due to the damage being per second rather than with the usual 2.9 second interval. Unfortunately, even with this slight benefit, the damage isn't still high enough to warrant using it alone. Just like with S1, you always want to get the double DPS, which is say, you want to always have the damage overlap. With the overlapping tiles, it does 826 DPS, which isn't bad at all. There isn't another AoE caster that deals similar amounts of DPS, but our favourite best AoE caster, Shiroyuki, deals 827 DPS. Do note that this comparison is just to give you an idea of what that damage sounds like. These two operators are extremely different and they should not be compared haphazardly like that. However, this skill does come with an extreme drawback. To be able to reach this decent number of 800 DPS, you only have 4 tiles max to work with. And that's assuming that you are using the damage on 2 separate lanes. If you are using it on 1 lane, you have 3 tiles, which also isn't really a great amount, especially considering that you might not be able to have optimal placement to reach those tiles in the first place, depending on the map. This skill also comes in at a whopping 70 SP cost, which means if you're gonna keep her there past the initial Hydelic drop, she's going to have to wait 70 whole seconds to be able to do decent damage again. Not to mention, you need someone to sit there at a perfect spot for it to work properly, although this last drawback is definitely the least troubling out of all of the other issues. The damage outside of these overlapping tiles isn't nothing, but as you can see, it's not something that can be relied on at all. I had to supplement the damage here with Savage and Siege, or to be more accurate, Purgatory's damage was the supplement to their otherwise lane soloing. Think of it as a small little bonus while going for the concentrated firepower to possibly support other lanes a little, though you won't find many stages where this will be of value. Notable examples, of course, being 7-4 and other maps where you have one range tile in between 2 lanes. In conclusion, Purgatory has a very interesting kit that falls extremely short in actual gameplay. Honestly, I can't recommend building her to anyone despite her cool ass design and skills. Her kit really is just that dysfunctional. But if you like her, if you really like her, you do get 1/3 of her promotion materials back, so it isn't as costly as your usual E2s. Do I regret building her? Yes, but hey, she gave me 50k views, which is higher than E's ever gotten, so that's one win for me, fuck you E. That's it for my first ever operator review, more coming in the future. If you liked it, comment I guess, and like and sub and follow my Twitch and OnlyFans.